5 o'clock in the morning and just getting ready to go to work. We are very happy that we are pretty much booked up for the winter season. We do have dates, but it's March really. I've got the odd date left, late February, but we're talking March now. So yeah, we're starting towards the end of October and we're going right the way through to the end of March. I have got dates available in March, but that's about it. So, and it's August now, so we do get a flurry of inquiries later on, or when people panic, or when things go wrong later on in the summer. But we are pretty much booked apart from date in March. So we still have dates available for winter work. But if you haven't already got a secured date and an email confirming a date and send me your CFAS details, then that's not a confirmed booking. So yeah, if you know anyone who needs our services this winter, within the next couple of 3 weeks, we are going to be fully booked, which is lovely. But at the same time, it's frustrating because there's not enough days in the week. So we always get to sort of normally the start of the winter, people ring up and go, "Oh, can you come and knit my lake next week?" Unfortunately, you can't. But yeah, I've got a load of content to start putting together. Got loads of editing to do eventually. I'm not very good at all that stuff, as anyone who watches my stuff will well know. All the good videos that I'm in, Ben does those. He's a bit of a whiz when it comes to things like that. Steven Spielberg. But yeah, lots going on. We're currently working in Wiltshire, in bank repairs, bits and pieces, which is lovely venue. And then we're doing an awful lot of swim building in September, and visits in between that. So yeah, it's all very well and good, and just trying to not fall asleep. But yeah, we are fairly booked up. So if anyone is waiting till the last minute, if they need our services in the winter, we've only got March left, basically. So yeah, I hope everyone has a good rest of the summer, and you can address any problems, etc., over this winter, so you don't have the same problems again next summer, basically. Because there's always the same sort of fisheries who have problems year in, year out, and they blame it on things which, it's nonsense, really. I still find this to this day is fascinating that a lot of people still won't accept, the facts of what's going on in their lake, because they're like, "Oh no, it's not that, it's this." And you're like looking every year and you're going back to these places, and some of them just don't learn. And I think they know a lot of it. I think they're in denial, some of them, when it comes to overstocking, or when it comes to sort of not grasping what the long-term benefits of any. It's not just about one thing ever. It's about a number of things. But yeah, it is quite strange. But by the same token, you go to a lot of places that embrace the changes that they need and understand, and they see results a lot quicker than a lot of people imagine, really. And that can be a broad spectrum of things, whether it's just simple cropping exercise, using very fine mesh to remove or move some juveniles. You never catch them all. But yeah, there's an awful lot you can do to improve your fishing on your lakes. And honestly, I say it all the time, but it's seldom to do with putting more fish in. I don't know how many lakes we net every year. I know last year we did 100. Well, I visited 200 venues in the year, but I think we surveyed and netted over the winter. I think it was 120 something last winter between October and March. And we get to see an awful lot of stuff that goes on. An awful lot of stuff. And it, to this day, is nothing surprises me now. I've been doing it for a long time, and you just don't really get surprised with stuff that people tell you or people you see. But yeah, you go to a lot of places where there's so much potential, and they some of them will go, "Oh yeah, well, we can't afford to do this because," and then you learn later on that they've spent loads of money on fish, or they've spent loads of money on stuff that you think, well, that's not going to benefit the future of the fishery. It's like quick fixes, and it's like the more I watch the news, which is the only time I ever watch the actual TV, is early morning, really. About now, watching 20 minutes of news before work, and it is a bit like that. It's a bit like so many people are like politicians who don't care about the long term. I think if you own a fishery, then yes, of course. And a lot of clubs, and this is a generalisation, but a lot of clubs are great, and they've got the foresight, and they're looking ahead, and they're trying to bring juniors on. And private fisheries obviously have got their own interest because they own the asset, so it's much easier working with a lot of private fisheries, simply because they've got the long term. They've got long term goals, so you can work with them to achieve that, and it all happens a bit quicker normally. And you start to achieve your potential and understand about fisheries and get the best out of them. Really, it's amazing what you can achieve in any bit of water. Doesn't matter how big or small, but you have to kind of. You just have to. I just try and be honest with people. So there's no good. There are lakes which will never make good match fisheries. There are lakes which will never make good specimen fisheries, and blah blah blah. And there are lakes that just aren't very productive at all. And sort of, there's ways and means of improving all these issues and areas. I can't remember the last time I advised someone to actually buy more fish. To improve fishing, everyone's going to buy more fish anyway and top up the stocks and all this, that, and the other. But I can't remember, unless you've been massively hammered by otters and cormorants. And I spoke to more people again this week about the fact that if you're just stocking, thinking you're going to improve the fishing, but you've got an awful lot of, is an example where they put like the fake islands and things like that in. Just if you are adding small fish to lakes like that, for example, they're just going to go and sit with the other fish, hiding under these little islands, hiding from the cormorants, as just one example. But they're sitting under these things stressed, and I will keep going on about it until I die. The fact that, because I've seen it time and time again, instead of doing that and having a load of stressed, stunted little fish hiding under silly little fake islands full of rigs and tackle because they're made of metal and stuff, get your margins sorted out, get your lake sorted out, get your water quality sorted out, keep the fish active, keep them moving. It encourages healthy water, it encourages healthy stock, it encourages better fishing, and it all comes together if you follow simple plans. None of it is really rocket science. It isn't. It's having a sensible plan and sticking to it. We go work for a lot of clients at clubs are disjointed. It's like a bunch of school kids sometimes. There are some amazing clubs, as we all know, but there are some that just argue between each other like children. And it is a little bit like, oh, come on, guys. And again, I liken it to politics. Too many people in charge going, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. And they never get anything done. And it's just, they're at loggerheads with each other. Or they're at loggerheads with the council who run the water, or the tenant or landowner. And none of it's achieving anything for anyone, and I get involved in all these situations. And half the time it's just trying to sort of be the middleman and sort of try and get them talking, really, and saying, look, you're going to have to get on with, especially when they're council run waters, or when it's or they're leasing them off someone, and we don't do nothing because the landowner won't let us. I think that's excuses all the time. It's like everything. It's just too many excuses going on. It's just, we're allowed to put fish in, but we're not allowed to do any bank work. Right, okay. Probably haven't asked that much. We're not allowed. It's like, well, and we've had this before. We've helped get things overturned and decisions made just by being honest and having me to have face-to-face meetings and putting across decent reasons, and it's not just there has to be some kind of plan, sensible plan, practical plan as well. But yeah, we won't be using any digital monitoring equipment this winter. You won't ever see me doing that. I do see quite a lot of these different methods of fish monitoring, shall we say, that are cropping up. Not for me. I give my advice based on what I see in real life, not on a screen. All right, some of these things are okay for mapping out depths of lakes, but when it comes to fish, if you're whizzing around in a boat looking at a screen going, oh, there's a shoal of fish there, I want to see those fish. I want to physically see them and grade them, and so I can look at the condition of them. And you learn so much from doing that, and that's why we do it in the winter. I see people doing stuff in the summer. Fine, if you're desperate for the work for that time of year, you do what you need to do. But I don't. I personally wouldn't do it. I never have. I don't want to be out catching fish in the warmer months because they've got spawning on the mine. They've got feeding and growing on the mine. In the winter, the water's quite simple, really. It's just what I believe is cold in the winter, and that is the time, in my opinion, to be handling fish, moving fish. Perfectly safe. You know, we go to a lot of venues and handle a lot of people's prized possessions every year, and the ones that we're allowed to get on and do stuff at the right time of year, they thrive, and there is reasons for that. You know, you learn over years why certain fisheries are successful and certain ones aren't. It's glaringly obvious. So yeah, we are getting booked up for the winter. So if anyone requires our help, get in touch, email me. Try not to do it on Facebook. I get a lot of traffic on Facebook from people who, I don't know, maybe they just have difficulties with spelling, or perhaps they could have spent a little bit more time at school, maybe. You know what I mean? Everyone gets them. But I can't understand half the things you get sent on social media. So all I do, I've got an automated message. If you try and send us stuff on social media, which I do read, but they're not legible half the time. So then the message says, please email. And if you don't email, I won't take it seriously, because we get so many of these kind of, it's just, yeah, strange messages. And you can't take them seriously, because like, if you could just please send me an email with your details and what we can do to help, and they never do, and you think, well, sorry, we can't really help. So yeah, it's early. I need a coffee quick before I go to work, but I just thought I'd get on here and say I've got a lot of content to be sharing, and hopefully that will help some people in their fishery management over the coming year. But in the meantime, I've got to go and get this work done this week, and then I'm going fishing.